Hello everybody. All right, this is going to be a very thin content weekend. Now, those of you who've been on Slope for a while know that I'm very proud of just how much content I create. You know, sometimes 15 or 16 posts in a day. This weekend's not going to be like that because I've generated so much content this week, I really don't have anything left to say at all. So I'm literally going to do like one post of my own a day, which is like unprecedented for Slope, and it's what, 17 years we've been around. So deal with it. But the posts will be important posts. They'll be good posts in any case. And what I'm doing here is a little twist on what I do quite often. Yes, I'm going to walk through the contents of my bear pen, but I'm going to remark regarding each stock whether I'm in it or not and where I would be interested in getting into it, because it's, as I've been mentioning, a lot of stocks are pretty far away from where I would like them to be for a short candidate. And so I'm just going to make that style of commentary on each one because most of these stocks aren't there yet. But I'd like us to gain an awareness as to where I think it would make sense for them to be appealing and which of these 75 I'm already in. So with that as a preface, keep that in mind for all three videos. I'm going to do one Friday, one Saturday, and one Sunday. And these are viewable by everybody. These will be in alphabetical order. Here's the first 25. Agilent, symbol A. And like I said, I'll specifically call out when I'm in these. So if I don't say I'm in, then I'm not. I'd like to see this get back to, and I'm not going to squint and read the price. You can read it for yourself, but I'll just mouse over the relevant price level where I think it would be an interesting short again. Alcoa, I'm in this one. And we zoom in. And in this case, I'll still mouse over it, but this is sort of the line I would like it to stay beneath. It's not necessarily a stop loss because I'm going to be a little bit flexible in terms of how high things can go. But for the moment, this is where I'd prefer the price to stay beneath. Abbott, ABT, I'm in this one too. And this is a beautiful long-term chart. Gorgeous, gorgeous head and shoulders pattern. And I'm saying the neckline is right there. ACN, I'm in this one. Accenture, kind of a similar situation in the respect that we've got a very long-term channel. I just noticed that this could kind of use an upper trend line. So let's do that like so. And we'll unextend that to the left. Okay, that's pretty good. And so we zoom in, and as I say, I'm in this one already. Gorgeous head and shoulders pattern on this one, and there's the neckline right there. Autodesk. This is an interesting one. I took profits on this a few days ago. I don't know. I'd be most comfortable, I think. You know, if it got here, I think I'd be interested in it again. That's a nice gap right there. It's a huge pattern, but this is kind of a long-term one because it moves very slowly. Ally, I'm in this one. I should have a bell or something instead of just saying that sentence every time. Yeah, I got into this one fresh on Thursday. Pretty good price too. And there's the line limit on that one. But this is a newer position. As you can see, it's a tremendous right triangle pattern. Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. Here, I like it to kind of hack its way back up to around this level. That price gap right there be very, very attractive for an entry. And I see on Friday it moved up almost 10%. So we really undid a lot of that bearish selling. AMG, Affiliated Managers Group. This is the another instance of a big top here. It's not a dynamite pattern. I'd be kind of interested if it got close to this most recent lower high. But I don't know, it's pretty good. A little tougher read. I think that approaching that zone here, roundabout here, would make it kind of interesting. Because you can see quite plainly, we've got a kind of a jigsaw pattern of lower lows and lower highs cooking there. Ameriprise, I am in this one. We're beneath this broken trend line. And we formed this very nice top pattern. It's not as spectacular as some of the others we've seen. And the line is something like here. Something along those levels. Abercrombie and Fitch, I have remained in this one. This is very long-term options on this. I'm playing this channel right here and just looking for just a gradual decline within the confines of that descending channel. Alexandria Real Estate. I recommended this one actually to premium members about a week ago because it was a beautiful pattern. Look at how spectacular this was. Beautiful pattern here, straight down, bottomed on Thursday and then beginning to climb higher. This one could have a lot of room to roam. Interestingly enough, check this out. Look at this trend line. Look how it behaved, finding support there. So in this instance, quite plainly, the closer we get to the neckline, the better. This is a good example of something way too far from a price that attracts me. But if it fought its way back to the neckline, it would be extremely appealing. Boeing, BA. This one found colossal support with respect to the support level here. Keep in mind, this thing fell from like $430 down to, it barely stayed in the triple digits. It is an incredible fall. It lost like, this is Boeing, keep in mind, it lost like 75% of its value. We were flirting with the same levels that we were at during the depths of the COVID crash. So Boeing is just garbage stock. Another good example of something that is way too low for me to find interesting. If, and God forbid the market's so strong it got back up here, but if it got back to this gap, it would be like a slam dunk short. Bank of America, this is one of the quite a few stocks puts I sold on Thursday. And thankfully so. I think I'd reconsider this at this level. Big, another one I took profits on. Not quite as clean a pattern, and somewhere around here in the upper 30s. I'd find it quite interesting to get back into that. Burlington. I got out of this one a little too soon. I probably got out of this a few days too soon, but I suppose if it got up to around 200 or so, it'd be interesting. Big pattern though. CBRE Group. All right, let's zoom in. And this is an instance where, as with several others, it's not like one simple line. It's more like a cluster of activity slowing it down. So in this instance, somewhere around 84 or thereabouts, I think would be an interesting price point for entry. Cracker Barrel, CBRL. This thing never seems to really break with a full force. In this instance, if it got up to around 117 or so, I'd seriously consider it. The closer it got to this trend line, the better. You can see, though, we've been making a nice series of lower highs. I'd want to see another lower high at a higher level, maybe $10 higher than here. Okay, it's been a bit of a dry spell, so I'll say again, this one I'm in. All those you just saw, I'm not in any of those, but this one I'm in. And it's a pretty one, sure is. This is Cadence. And there's the neckline way down there. We haven't really broken that yet. And we've got a big, thick cluster of activity right here. So let's just throw in another line to suggest where I think important resistance is. From a chart perspective, it isn't really classically important, but something along those lines there should be a very important resistance zone for this. In fact, let's be even more conservative. Let's drag it down a bit, like so. But yeah, there's the pattern. CDW. This one, it's okay. It's not a very powerful top, but in this instance, the closer we get to this level, the more interesting I think it would be. I'm in this. Continental Resources, CLR. Very pretty broken trend line here. And let's just throw down a horizontal to show what we'd like it to break, like so. I'm in this one. And of these 25, this is the last one I'm in. Cummins, CMI. And again, not just a dynamite pattern, but pretty good. And we'll drag this down to take into account the low we saw. And so the closer we get to this line, the more appealing risk-reward ratio there is. Capital One Financial. This one's got to really recover. I'd want to see it somewhere above 125 before I considered it. Caesar, very glad I got out of this one at a very good profit. A very violent mover here. Would want to see this back around 65 or so, I think. Discover Financial, DFS. You know, it's working on it. I think anywhere around 110 to 115 would be an interesting point. And finally, this is a long ass list. eBay. Zoom in here, and I would say we would want to see around 52 on this one. All right, that's the first chunk of 25.